one of the things I learned on the other side of this whole situation and Bad Vegan coming out and is that after Bad Vegan came out, there's like a fire hose in my face of comments and people coming at me with stuff. And in the middle of all the comments, some of it really sympathetic and kind, some of it attacking me and calling me a criminal and saying, but there was a trickle of people in there saying, have you ever been diagnosed for?
Got it. I mean, that's a huge change for sure. Were prior to your parents divorcing, were you close with both of them, or were you closer with one of them than the other?
I think probably the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what was your dad's background? What did he do?
My dad was at MIT I always say my dad's a physicist, but he worked in electrical engineering and physics and was at MIT the whole time growing up.
Dumb guy, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you ever into your dad's line of work, like fascinated by that stuff, like the science side?
No, I mean, I did very well in school, but for some reason, like physics was not my thing. I liked math, but that wasn't really my thing either. But it's funny, I only just learned my dad, he's 86 now, and sometimes he just kind of spills out some stuff where I'm like, wait, what? And he said something about how, he was an immigrant. He was born in Latvia, and then they fled, and he was in a refugee camp for a while in Germany, and then they moved to the United States, and there was so much pressure on him and his brother to do well in school and get scholarships and like full rides and scholarships and get their PhDs and whatnot. And I think he felt so much intense pressure to do well academically that he didn't want to put that pressure on my sister and I, and so he didn't. But I think just didn't. When he said that, I thought, I'm all this time I interpreted that a bit as a sort of indifference. Like, I'm getting straight A's. Why is nobody impressed? Why does nobody care? And I interpret it as a bit of indifference. And it's only now, I just turned 53 yesterday. Yeah. Like now I realized that all that time he was actually wanting to shield me from the pressure that he had felt.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So you're taking it in some ways that could feel back then like it's almost like, am I being neglected? Like this is what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah.
But in reality, he was trying to do the opposite, and it's like the wires got crossed.
Yeah. I didn't know that. Yeah. But either way, in some ways I did appreciate that there wasn't a bunch of pressure on me to do well, because I think that I was motivated to do well for myself.
If you're looking for high style at lower costs with premium comfort, boy, do I got the clothing brand for you. Mizzen & Main is the ground zero of the phrase, look good, feel good. Let's face it, most dress clothes only check one of those boxes. Might look good, but it feels absolutely awful. It's stiff, hot, high maintenance, coming untucked sometimes, which of course makes it very hard to feel comfortable. But not with Mizzen & Main dress clothes, and that's why I'm a fan. Imagine this, a crisp, comfortable white dress shirt you can wear every day of the week without the constant washes or trips to the dry cleaner. That's exactly what you're going to get with Mizzen & Main. Mizzen & Main makes classic menswear with performance fabrics, so it's effortless to look sharp and feel great. Mizzen & Main shirts and pants look refined, yet they're stretchy, lightweight, moisture-wicking, wrinkle-resistant, and completely machine washable. No ironing or dry cleaning. When you put your clothes on, you'll feel the difference instantly. Professional style that's actually comfortable, whether you're in the office, on the road, or even out on the golf course. It's a timeless style you can invest in once and enjoy for years. That's why thousands of guys wear Mizzen & Main when they want to look great without the hassle. Right now, Mizzen & Main is offering our listeners 20% off your first purchase at mizzenandmain.com, promo code JULIAN20. That link is in my description below. That's Mizzen, spelled M-I-Z-Z-E-N, and Main, MAIN.com. Promo code JULIAN20 for 20% off. Once again, mizzenandmain.com, promo code JULIAN20. And if you'd rather shop in person, you can find Mizzen & Main stores in select states. What about your sister? Did she have a different experience? How old was she when your parents
She's
divorced?
4 years older than me.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think my sister, I don't know, one of the things I learned on the other side of this whole situation and Bad Vegan coming out and is that after Bad Vegan came out, there's like a fire hose in my face of comments and people coming at me with stuff. And in the middle of all the comments, some of it really sympathetic and kind, some of it attacking me and calling me a criminal and saying, but there was a trickle of people in there saying, have you ever been diagnosed for autism or Asperger's? I think you're on the spectrum. And I got so much of that coming at me that I thought, that's interesting. Why are all these people saying that? And they were saying that these are people who had themselves been diagnosed, so they weren't saying it in a negative way. And I thought that was interesting. And I eventually was able to go for a very thorough evaluation, like the kind where you're there all day and you're like doing stuff with shapes and all kinds of tests. And then they come back a few weeks later with this very extensive report and gave me a diagnosis of Autism 1, which I feel like there's a lot of people out there that would get a diagnosis of being somewhere on that spectrum, but it reframed everything about my childhood and my whole past experiences, where a lot of things now make a lot more sense in that framework.
I'm glad you said it because it was the first thing I thought.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because people when people would reach out to me, so often they were worried that they were offending me by asking me the question or pointing it out. And I wasn't offended at all, because the one sort of really nice, healthy relationship I had after all of this happened was with a guy who I got to know in the context of his work, and he was such an oddball, and I tend to like oddballs, and really, really, really smart. And that's like my type, super smart oddballs. But his behavior was so weird and maddening, but there was a lot about us. There was a lot about us that was compatible, and he seemed like one of those people that needs a lot of alone time and kind of doesn't fit in. And I felt my whole life like I don't really fit in anywhere, or like something's weird about me and I don't really understand. And then one day he said something to me like, I think we had been talking about Elon Musk, and he said something about Asperger's, and he said, yeah, I think I might be like a notch on that. And I
got struck by the tism.
Wait a minute. And I went home and did all this research about men with Asperger's, and which now they call it Autism 1 for some. I guess the Asperger's dude was like a Nazi, so let's change the name. But I did all this research on men with autism, with Asperger's, which I'm going to just keep calling it Asperger's. And it made so many things make sense. And I really appreciate all of those qualities.
What do you mean?
But it
made so many things made sense.
It made a lot of things about him make sense,
right?
That I couldn't really understand. Like, why is he giving me mixed signals? And or like, why does he talk about his special interest, or like, why does he talk about this thing for hours? Anyway, but I found myself extremely compatible with him, and I really appreciate it. But what's funny is not once did it ever occur to me that I might also have that. Like, it never occurred to me until Bad Vegan came out, and all these people are coming at me. And there were people that made, there's people that made videos, like these TikTok reels and videos on YouTube, analyzing me and making the argument as to why they think I'm on the spectrum. And I'm watching it like, this is interesting. Yeah. So anyway, I finally did go for the official diagnosis and got that, as well as she also diagnosed me with some kind of a sensory processing disorder. Sensory processing. And like a depression, which is kind of, whatever. Lots of us have that, but sensory processing disorder, which it's funny, I haven't really looked into it that much, but I think some of it comes along with, there's something called being a highly sensitive person, like HSP, and you can look online and there's quizzes. Are you a highly sensitive person? And, however many questions there are, I think if I go through and answer those questions, I'm like a hell yes on pretty much all of them or most of them. And so, there's certain things that I'm highly sensitive to, like sounds, certain, like if there was a clicking, well, there wouldn't be in here because of the sound, but if there was a ticking clock, like if I go somewhere and there's a ticking clock, that I can hear it.
Yep.
I'm like, can I take that off the wall? Like, I can't, like, it's going to drive me nuts.
Yes.
It's going to make me angry. And, so I'm a bit sensitive to sounds and very sensitive to smells. So in my apartment, like when somebody walks by in the hallway wearing too much perfume or cologne, all of a sudden, like I didn't open the door. I didn't go near the door. I'll be sitting in my apartment, whatever. And it's like, it's as if it's under my nose, the cologne and the perfume.
Yeah, sorry about the water main break in Hoboken today, because that's not helping the smells around here in the hallways or anywhere.
Yeah, no, it's fine. But the smells that seem to irritate me are like artificial smells. You know, like harsh cleaning products and things like that.
Gotcha. I won't get the Febreze then. Yeah. That's interesting that, you know, you didn't test that until even like after the documentary came out, when this is not something you looked at when you were a kid or when you were a young adult or anything. And then some things start to make sense, because also with autism, it is such a wide spectrum.
Yeah.
You know, and we did a podcast with the father of one girl who's nonverbal autistic, and they thought that her whole life that meant that, you know, she wasn't all there and everything, and it turned out to be the total opposite.
She's more than there. Yeah. Did you listen to the Telepathy Tapes?
That's who it was. It was a father of
that show was absolutely fascinating.
Thank you guys for checking out this clip. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe and hit the like button on this video. It is a huge, huge help. And if you'd like to check out this clip's full podcast episode, that link is in the description below or right here. And finally, you can follow me on Instagram and X by using the links in my description below.